Welcome to another edition of the Wranglers Roundup, talking Northern Arizona Wranglers football with Coach Les Moss and the Wranglers broadcast team of James Poovey and Ed Cole. Let's ride.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you inside Rosa's Pizza here in Prescott Valley, Arizona for another edition of the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. James Poovey coming to you live alongside my very special guest host tonight, Mr. John J. Rust from KYCA Radio. John, how are you doing tonight? I really appreciate you coming out here and joining me for a Wranglers Roundup show.
No, I am doing absolutely fine, James. And again, thank you very much for inviting me on here to fill in for your normal partners. Always glad to pinch hit.
Well, we really appreciate it. Ed Cole unavailable tonight, but we're going to have a great time talking Wranglers football as we always do here. We got Coach Les Moss joining us here tonight on the program. We'll also be joined by linebacker Justin Wisenhunt and wide receiver Ramad Jakiao Bowman will join us here on the program. John, it's going to be a fun night talking Wranglers football. The team got off to an 0-1 start there in the first week, and then they evened it up at 1 apiece with a rousing victory over the Vegas Nighthawks.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of nice to see first two games, two very close games, and also a nice way to going back to the season opener, kind of recovering after that really slow start there in the first quarter. And kind of like I said on the halftime show, it's like, well, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, the Wranglers really changed up their plan and came out and just really had a great effort there against Duke City. Came up a little short, but they certainly made up for it against the Nighthawks. So I think that was a really good turnaround. Come up a little short in the season opener, come back and really have a great battle there with the Nighthawks. And finally, like, almost pretty much at the last minute, pulling out that close victory there to the Nighthawks. And the Nighthawks, they come around and they have another close one against San Diego, who, of course, Northern Arizona is going to be playing this coming week.
That's exactly right. It's going to be a challenge indeed. It was a great game against Vegas. One thing I like to see from the Northern Arizona Wranglers so far here in the early part of the season is they're able to battle, weather the storm, and then make the halftime adjustments, come out, and really they look like a different team in that second half against Vegas, and were able to come out on top ultimately against a really good football team.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's really good that they get tested like this early in the season, because I don't think you want to go through maybe your first 3 or 4 games and it's a blowout either against you or for you. So have a couple of close games to start it off. I think that really builds the team confidence to know that, hey, you know what? We can hang with anyone, and even when it's getting down to crunch time, we can find a way to pull something out at the last minute, sometimes even the last second, get that win. So I imagine these first 2 games, really good character building games, and I think it's going to set the stage for what we're going to see from the Wranglers moving forward here in the 2023 season.
Yeah, we're really starting to settle into that 2023 season, and we'll step aside, take a short time out, and come right back here to Rosa's Pizzeria in Prescott Valley, Arizona, where we'll be joined by the head coach of your Northern Arizona Wranglers, Mr. Les Moss, joins us right here after the break. Stay with us here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel.
That's funny. Desert School's changed their name.
Yeah, now it's Desert Financial.
Alice Cooper! Wait, what are you doing here?
I'm telling everyone, school's out.
For summer?
Forever.
Whoa! Whoa!
Dude, put your card in.
You got a voice, Molly. Use it. Do it for the phone.
Let's do it for the phone. They do so much for you. When they're out there all alone, there's something we can do. T-Mobile, look at these maps, they don't lie. And faster speeds nationwide. Let's do it for the phone.
We welcome you back to Rosa's Pizzeria here in Prescott Valley, Arizona. The Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup on the air. James Poovey alongside my guest co-host tonight, Mr. John J. Rust. We're pleased now to be joined by Coach Les Moss of the Northern Arizona Wranglers. Coach Moss, thanks again for joining us here tonight. My first question, how was your Easter?
My Easter was wonderful. Thank you very much. It's relaxed, spent time with the wife. It was awesome.
And a piggyback question off of that, how was the bye week overall? You had a week off now. Not really a week off, I know, for you.
Everybody thinks that we just take the week off. It was a work week. The players, they continue to work also. They get to take some time off their bodies, which, is important. In a 15-game season, indoor football, it takes a toll on their bodies, but it's good for us. We get to reflect on our first 2 games. We get to self-scout, really take a look at what we're doing, what's going good for us, what's going bad for us, things that we need to address, personnel-wise and things like that. So bye weeks are good.
So what were some of the things in the bye week that you worked on in practice, some of the things you refined after seeing what you saw in the first 2 games for the Wranglers this season?
Well, during the bye week, the players are off. So we didn't practice at all. And we do things internally as far as self-scouting offensively and defensively and special teams to see some of the tendencies that we may be giving away and things like that. So, and then we work on personnel also.
And I imagine also it gives you a chance to put in some extra time to scout your upcoming opponent, of course, the San Diego Strike Force.
Yeah, I mean, that's the San Diego Strike Force, the Bay Area Panthers, and the Las Vegas team are our next 3 games. So it gives us a chance to take a preview into that. And, it's just a good time to get a lot of work done.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the parity that we've seen in the league so far this year? I mean, there's been a lot of close games, especially in these first couple of weeks of the season, the Wranglers included.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's like this at the beginning of every season with such a short training camp, and you have every year you have an influx of new players coming in. It takes time for teams to gel. And the NFL, they have 3 or 4 preseason games and all of that. They got 6 weeks of training camp. So, it takes time for the team to gel. And, we're very happy with where we are right now.
And you talk about it takes time for a team to gel, and sometimes they have to gel during the season with new players. I looked at the transaction list for the IFL, and quite a few teams, including San Diego, they released some players, signed some players, had some players on IR. I think Duke City had about 8 or 9 transactions in the last couple of days. So even here in the first 2 weeks of the season, still a lot of guys having to go through a learning curve. Still a lot of teams trying to figure out their identity and trying to gel with all these players coming in and out.
Well, that's very common in all professional sports. There's always a lot of transactions and movement within rosters. Rosters are a very fluid situation, especially early in the season. And the IFL is no different than them. So that waiver wire is always busy. And it will continue to be busy all the way through the season. I mean, that's just the nature of the business.
Coach, as you guys get ready to go back to work tomorrow officially to prepare for that San Diego Strike Force team, what have you seen from those guys on film?
San Diego's got a very talented roster. They're young. They're playing 2 quarterbacks right now. They have some new faces that weren't there last year, so they're trying to gel, but they do have a very talented roster. I mean, they got Carlos Thompson and Hoodie Rogers, and they're talented. They can come in and beat you, and Las Vegas learned that. So.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. The hard way, unfortunately, for them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, a failed PAT. And actually, you look at San Diego. I mean, they're 1-2, but they could easily be 2-1 on the season. You go back to their season opener with Quad City. They lost that pretty much in the last few seconds on a failed 2-point conversion. You take out the Sugar Skulls game, and 2 of their games, very close games, decided by 1 or 2 points. And, of course, you guys have been in that boat too. Very close games. So I imagine we're probably going to see the same thing on Sunday when you 2 guys tangle over at the Findlay Toyota Center.
On this side, on the west side, we haven't really seen anybody on the east side yet other than films. There's just like last year. I mean, there was a lot of parity last year. San Diego was a good team last year. I mean, we went out there to San Diego, and it was everything that we had to get out of there with a win. So they beat Tucson last year.
they're a good football team. They're well coached. You know, these coaches in this league get paid to coach too. These players get paid to play. So it's a good league. It's a solid league. There's a lot of parity, and it's this thing. Nobody's just going to run away with this thing this year, I don't think.
Absolutely not, Coach.
No.
And we got our hands full coming up this Sunday, as we mentioned, against that San Diego Strike Force team. You mentioned Marquise Hoodie Rogers returning to Prescott Valley for the first time since his initial season with the Wranglers in 2021. So a lot of weapons out there in San Diego, and our defense is going to really have to play well on Sunday.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, speaking of defense, you look at San Diego's defense. I mean, two of the guys who really caught my attention, one was David Haney. The other was Laurie White. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. But you look at, I think between them, they have 11 pass breakups. White has about 15 and a half tackles. Haney has 9 tackles. They got a couple interceptions. So, again, two really great weapons on defense for San Diego that you guys need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I actually coached David Haney. He was with us with the Barnstormers in 2021. He's a good football player. He's a ball hawk back there. You know, he understands the game. And yeah, I mean, they have good players top to bottom. So, you know, I mean, they're going to win a lot of games this year. And, you know, we got our work cut out for us. There's no question.
The Wranglers get back to work tomorrow inside the Finley Toyota Center and prepare to battle the San Diego Strike Force coming up this Sunday at 3:05 p.m. Local kickoff, available on the Indoor Football League YouTube channel. Coach Moss, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to visit with you, and we'll check in with you again down the
you.
road. Coach Moss here on the program joining us. We'll step aside, take a short time out, and when we return, we'll be joined by wide receiver Ramad Jakiao Bowman, the IFL Offensive Player of the Week last week here in the IFL. So stay with us. More to come here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup when we return to Rosa's Pizzeria.
There's a little piece of magic in the heart of the Verde Valley, where adventure is encouraged. Whether you're whining and dining, rocking and rolling, or pushing and pulling, it's your adventure. Play however you choose.
Who's to say you don't have the skills to reach the top? Who's to say you don't have power?
This is how we do it.
Who's to say you can't own the stage? Who's to say you can't put a team together? Who's to say who's best? The best ever? Or who will be in the future? And with this game-changing team to inspire us, who's to say what's possible for you? Pepsi, play to inspire.
We welcome you back inside Rosa's Pizzeria here in Prescott Valley, Arizona. The Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup on the air. We're pleased now to be joined by wide receiver and IFL Offensive Player of the Week last week, Ramad Jakiao Bowman, #1 here on the Wranglers. So glad to meet with you again, my friend. Talk to us first about the award. What did that mean to you to garner something special like that, let's say they don't hand them out like candy?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, I was just super grateful to be able to be in that position. Talk to the team, talk to Coach Moss. When I heard that I got that award, and I mean, it's a testament to the team, obviously, but really, when you're able to be in that position to make plays,
yes,
that's a special place to be. So just to be able to consistently have that trust from my team, consistently have that trust from the coaches, you know, I'm super grateful for that for sure.
So, Ramad, we talked about, first 2 games of the season for the Wranglers, 2 very close games against Duke City and then, of course, against Las Vegas. To have 2 very, just tight dogfight battles there to start the season, what does that do just for the confidence of the team?
Yeah, I think you alluded to it earlier very well. It builds a lot of character. So to be able to deal with adversity, the ebb and flows of a game, the crowd, the team you get, and we're a new team too. 6 of us returning, right?
Right.
So to be able to learn each other also is a super big part of the process of becoming a good team and becoming a winning team and understanding what a winning culture involves. So.
Talk about your quarterback, Garrett Kettle, and Nick Watson as well.
Yep.
How have you guys all been able to get on the same page in a relatively short amount of time?
Yeah, I think that the chemistry and the unification we've had as a team, mentioning not just Garrett, but Nick as well, it really started in the offseason when we got wind of everybody being on the team, and they took it upon themselves as leaders, and I loved it. I knew that we were going to have a positive start and a positive season, even though we're early on, but they took it upon themselves to be intentional about meeting, be intentional about getting to know each other prior to coming here. So
sure.
it was super beneficial in that fact, and it's continued to progress as I've gotten here.
Yeah. So, Ramad, when it comes to us putting this team together, building up this team, you go to the NFL. I mean, their training camp lasts for over a month, and they have 4 preseason games. In college, I mean, you played at Northwest University, I believe. I'm sure their training camp went on for more than a month. Yeah. So you have a long time to get down those plays, know everyone. Here in the IFL, it's like a 2-week training camp. It's almost you report to training camp, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, bang, we're in our first game of the season. Yeah. So what's that like, having such a short training camp and trying to get on the same page in such a short amount of time?
Well, it's interesting. One, just not necessarily the exact question you asked, but overall, I mean, I tell a lot of people back home that the IFL is no joke. From the outside looking in, you might not know a lot about the understanding of the game, how it goes, the logistics. But when it comes to camp, when it comes to the competition, when it comes to the responsibilities of players, is really second to none. And in my opinion, from my experience where I've been thus far, it's some of the toughest competition and responsibilities I've had. So to have that 10-day training camp, to be competing with guys that played at all different levels, coming from all different walks of life, is definitely a great opportunity to build you as a player, and just learn how to grind.
Mm-hmm.
Ramad, as we take a look at some of your highlights here from the early portion of this season, what was the biggest thing that you learned in year 1 last year with the Wranglers that you've been able to take into year 2 and help you develop as an overall athlete?
Easy, speed. Coach Rob, we got a great coach on the offensive side of the ball, somebody that luckily, selfishly so, he played receiver himself. So I'm not only able to understand the game from an offensive perspective, but from a receiver perspective. So in those offensive meetings, he talked a lot about, Coach Rod talked a lot about speed, just playing with speed. Yeah, Maj, you got this, you got this, you got that. Yeah, Glenn, you got this, you got that. But in this game, the best thing and the best tool you can have is your speed. So use it to your advantage, play big, play fast, and the rest will take care of itself.
Okay. So, Ramad, I want to go back to your past here a little bit, as you played for Breck High School back in Minnesota. And along with being a great football player there, you were also a great basketball player, a 3-time all-conference basketball player, 4-time all-conference track and field athlete. In fact, you were a 2-time state runner-up in the triple jump. And one of the things I like to advocate on my show over at KYCA is just being a multi-sport athlete. And as a 3-sport athlete and a successful 3-sport athlete in football, basketball, track and field, talk about how important that is for your overall development as an athlete.
Yeah, other sports. I see a lot of kids playing one sport these days with a focus. Oh, I just want to be good at this sport. I'm gonna train for this sport in these other seasons, which is I love. I love that effort. I love that passion. In my opinion, playing multiple sports can build a different level physically, from agility, speed, quickness standpoint. For example, you mentioned track and basketball, which was great for me, but also from a confidence, effort, ethic, attitude, energy, leadership standpoint, and the list goes on. And in these other sports, basketball and track specifically, I really had to navigate a lot of my shortcomings as an athlete. Or things that I just wasn't good at. And so that skill that I gained there of being persistent and being aware of what I wasn't necessarily the best at really elevated me in my football game, because I was able to address my weaknesses or my shortcomings in football as well. But I learned that skill from other sports as well.
And I think the other thing is, I think being a multi-sport athlete can open up a lot more doors for you, because along with you being recruited by Northwestern, I'm sure a lot of other colleges were interested in you. I'm sure a lot of other colleges were interested in you as a basketball player, and especially as a track and field athlete. When you look at someone who's like, wow, 2-time state runner-up in the triple jump, I'd like to have this guy on my college track and field team.
Yeah, for sure. You jump out. You want to separate yourself in the recruit process, just like in what do we say, the real world, the job process when you're looking for a job as well.
Right.
So having those successes, achievements, team or individually, definitely helps you separate yourself in that recruit process.
So we talk about your ability as a multi-sport athlete. Why football? Why was football the ultimate one that steered the ship for you?
Yeah, football has always been a passion. Football has been the dream. NFL has been the dream. It's been a blessing to be able to chase that dream and continue to have the opportunity to reach that dream. For me, it kind of wasn't a question. My brother and I, my family and I, we've always just been a football family. So when it came down to having an opportunity or choosing, and gratefully being able to choose what sport that I was going to play, not that I was very good at basketball. You make it seem like I was but football was the easy choice.
Yeah. And well, along with your sports career, I also understand that while you were at Breck High School, you were a drummer in the Breck High School jazz band. Talk a little about that, man.
Yeah, so my mom really got me into playing the instrument, but I've been in love with music my whole life. I have pictures of me from a young age, 2, 3, 4, rapping, singing. And so in the 5th grade, I started playing the drums. And from there, it just evolved from playing concert band to playing jazz band to being in a couple jazz combos throughout middle school to going to jazz camps.
Nice.
Okay.
In Minnesota. And then when I got to Breck, I met a great friend of mine, Atlas Finch, and he was a fellow musician, and he had a similar passion that I did. And throughout our time in high school, to say the least, we were able to start prom band, homecoming band, pep rallies, things of that nature, which was a great experience for me and a great, overall, just great time. And then I had the special opportunity for auditioning for Honors All-State Jazz Band. And I got into that, and that was a special and fun opportunity.
Man, that's one thing that we haven't talked about personally yet. I've been drumming since I was 8 years old, so now the show is going to be about 3.5 hours long. So we apologize to everyone in advance for that, but no, we'll talk about that off the air. But that is outstanding. You're very versatile, and I believe that the musicianship plays a part into the athletics as well, as far as discipline and knowing that practice is the only thing that's going to make you better.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure. Starting to play the drums or starting to play any instrument, you can only be so natural at an instrument. That's what I believe. You still need to learn the fundamentals to be able to play songs, read music, improv, whatever it may be. So being a natural at football or being a natural on the field is one thing. But when I started to elevate and actually put myself in competitive situations in terms of drumming and music, I had to put in more time to feel prepared in order to feel confident and be able to do what I wanted to do.
Okay, who's your favorite drummer? That's going to be my next question. Oh, I know that's a tough one, and you might have to wait for the next show to answer. It's fine.
Buddy, classic, just Buddy Rich.
Okay, yeah.
Just being able to watch him and how he improvs, crazy.
Yes,
crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is interesting stuff. Ramad Jakiel Bowman here, drummer, wide receiver. What else do you do, my friend? Is there anything? And we haven't even covered the haircut yet. Let's talk about that. What brought that on? That was the first thing I noticed when I got to see you again after the offseason. Oh my gosh, there he is. Oh, wait a minute, he cut the hair.
Yeah. So last year when y'all saw me, I was off the couch. Coach Moss called me off the couch, so I was in my let's just say bummy phase, beard, not trimming it up, not caring, just focus on the dream, focus on the goal, focus on the mission. And so this time around, it was just new start. To be quite frank, it was just getting a lot to manage. Starting to look like a perm, blessed with healthy hair, but it was starting to look like a perm.
A lot of work. It's a lot of work.
So
it is.
Gave it a cut. This is clean. and we can get to work like this.
I like it. I like it a lot. My friend, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Wide receiver
appreciate
Ramad Jockey Albonin joining us
Appreciate
here on the
y'all.
program. The pizza has arrived. He's going to go off camera here and get a couple slices, and we're going to step aside, take a brief timeout, and when we return, we'll speak with linebacker Justin Wisenhunt when we return here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. Stay with us. More to come from Prescott Valley right after this.
Obviously, we got termites.
Well, first thing is, you gotta know what they're biting on.
Whoa, yeah.
This aged birchwood is perfect for the big ones this time of year.
Oh,
They gobble it up like a candy bar.
nice.
What's going on?
What?
I told you to hire a pro.
I did get a pro.
An Orkin pro.
I got this.
Got termites? Don't call any pro. Call the Orkin Pro. With over 120 years of experience, nobody's better. Orkin, the best in pests.
You're still paying me for this.
Nope, just relax.
That's cut. We are clear.
Come on, Playmaker. Why you always got to be so awkward on camera? I would say you make me look bad, but we both know that is entirely impossible.
It was possible back in the day on the football field, that's for sure.
You got to be losing your mind. Somebody roll back these tapes, man. Can somebody get this man some water? He ain't feeling well. Please, somebody.
We'll all feel better when you stop all that trash talk.
Dog, are you serious? Look like you needed some real trash talk. See, this ain't trash. This is recycling, which means it goes in the recycling bin. Schooling you again, Playmaker, as usual.
The only thing you ever schooled me on was how to get away with bad calls. That was embarrassing.
Not as embarrassing as you putting recyclables in the trash can.
When did we start talking about your touchdown dance? That was embarrassing.
You've gone too far.
Look like old days. Boy, you know I love you.
Know the difference? Make a difference. Be a team player and recycle. Visit PepsiTrashTalk.com to learn more.
We welcome you back inside Rosa's Pizzeria here in beautiful Prescott Valley, Arizona. The Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup on the air. Pleased now to be joined by linebacker extraordinaire, Justin Wisenhunt. Justin, thank you so much for coming on with us. We appreciate your time. I got to tell you, I love watching that 7 run around out there and make plays on the defensive side of the football for the Wranglers. How much fun are you? You look like you're having a lot of fun out there.
I'm having a lot of fun. This week I was mic'd up, so it's kind of like I was in a different zone. But now it's my first year of professional football, so everything's kind of new, but it's fast and fun. I'm enjoying myself.
Well, tell us about that mic'd up while you're on that subject there right quick. How was that when they came to you and said, hey, we're going to mic you up a little bit? Hopefully you folks at home noticed last week during the game. If you didn't, go back and watch it. Justin was mic'd up during the game along with a couple other players, I believe. They're working on that and getting it tweaked up a little bit, but it was fun. We could hear you come through the mic a couple times there, especially when you were making the calls there at middle linebacker.
Yes, sir. It was pretty fun. I felt like I was really this is big league, but I felt like I was in the big league. I had to kind of think sometimes too. I get to talking after the play.
Yeah, you got
okay, this camera, this is mic on. Let me be quiet. Let me chill. But,
hot mic situation,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
So Justin, again, you said for your first year of professional football, you actually did sign originally with the USFL.
Yes,
unfortunately, didn't get any playing time there. So do you feel like so I guess this is kind of like your second chance, your second opportunity to show everyone what you can do at the professional level?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I thank Coach Moss. I really got this opportunity. Last year's championship quarterback, Caleb Barker, was my college teammate.
Yes, at Troy University.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we played together. So he knew what I was going through. He called me. He was like, hey, man, I got a good situation for you. We won a championship up here. Coach Moss is a great guy. A lot of guys were leaving and going to Bay Area. And so he was like, I think they'll need somebody in the mic role. You'd be interested. And I thank Coach Moss for giving me the opportunity to come up here and become a Wrangler. And I've been enjoying myself ever since.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, my friend, doesn't he? I mean, you got that connection with Caleb from last season, and then that rolls over. You make the connection with Coach Moss. How about Coach Simpson? What has he done for this program, and how much fun is it to play defense for him?
Yeah, I love Coach Simpson, man. He's a high, energetic guy. He don't tolerate negativity. He's always positive. Even when things get going wrong, he's always positive, and he's really dialing it up. We out there with I think maybe 3 guys on the defense that played like in the indoor before, but the whole secondary, this is all our first year. Banks, Miller, Keyshawn, me, and Dorian played last year. But so we just trying to figure it out, put the pieces together. I like to call it like stacking our pennies.
Yeah. Okay.
Every day, and then eventually you get $1. So, we're gonna put it together.
And I always like to ask this for like newbies to the IFL, to the indoor ranks. Your years at Troy University. You also spent a year at UNC Charlotte, and of course playing for Ramsey High School, where you actually won the state championship your senior year. But you're used to just 100 yards of gridiron, and now it's like, here I am, 50 yards indoors, and you're out of bounds when you basically fall into the crowd. So what was it like, kind of like adapting yourself to that style of football after in high school and college you were used to, the regular kind of football?
So all my friends, they look at indoor, they think it's supposed to be easy. But I tell them, I swear, things move so much faster. If you look at the game one against Duke City, I can say for myself, I was out there like a deer with headlights. Everything was just happening so fast. It's different from practice. And I can say conditioning-wise, it's still the same. You still need to be in shape to play this game. This is not – the IFL is not any league. It's not a joke, and that's probably the biggest transition, to seeing things happen so much faster. On the football outdoor, I got a couple more yards. I can track somebody down. But here, it's coming right now. It's coming right now, especially being at that max spot. It's coming right now.
Kind of like I said before, it's like, you got the fans kind of like, right there in your face, like they're in your face. It's like you make a big play and you can just like turn around and just go, hey, high five a fan.
And I love the fact that our first few home games have been there. We got a nice fan base, and they always interact with the crowd. So I talk to the crowd with me at game. They tell me stuff I might not want to hear, but hey, sometimes it motivate me and keep me going, keep the energy up in the arena. So
that's exactly right. One thing I noticed last year, obviously, as you know, Justin, playing football for the amount of time you have, it's about the bond between the team, the brotherhood, because you guys are going to war together, and that's got to be there, or else the success is not even going to be on the table whatsoever. How's the bond with this team so far here? 2 games in and really 3.5 weeks into the season.
Bond, we're getting tighter and tighter each week. Even when we lost that first game, we never really split apart, because we saw the potential. Duke City was a veteran team. We were a young team, and we saw how we were this close to winning, and we knew at that moment nobody liked the feeling after the game. All the guys that were here last year and had experience told us, don't worry, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
My biggest adjustment was I hate losing. I think everybody hates losing, but
in
professional sports, it's just like you lose and then you go on with it. I was trying to dwell on it, and everybody was like, hey, man, shake back next week.
Right.
So it's kind of like a next play mentality, next game mentality. You just got to keep going. Like I say, stack the pennies, and eventually, you get you some money.
Yeah. And I guess you go back to that Duke City game, and again, that first quarter was probably something a lot of you guys would like to forget. But talk about what it was like, the way because I think if I remember, I stink at math, but I think you were down by maybe 20 points or something. I'm probably wrong, because again, I stink at math. But when you were in that big hole, and the second period or the second quarter starts, what was kind of the mentality of the team where you were able to come back and really make a game of it against Duke City?
First drive for defense, they scored every drive. It was scoring quick, and Coach Simpson calmed us down. He was like, hey, calm down. Like, it's a long game. We're gonna come back. And in the moment you're seeing that, you're like, it's no way, bro. They're scoring every drive. But then you see how we got 2 straight stops, and the offense scored 2 straight times, and then just like that, going to halftime, we right back in the game. So we saw okay, it happened real quick. Okay, cool. Now what adjustment are you gonna make next? How you gonna adjust? How you gonna adjust? And so that's kind of how we go into practice in situations. Coach Simpson put us in situations in practice to where, how are we gonna adjust? We got a really good offense, and I can say we practice against some of the best guys in the IFL every week. So going out there in the game, it helps us be able to perform the way we do.
That was part of my next question. How is going up against this really solid and prolific offense help you out as a defender every week? And then, how much do those guys up front, Tremont and the fellas, clogging the holes up front and allowing you as a linebacker to flow free and really just diagnose the play, take that good angle, and then go smash it?
You look at the numbers, I ain't really did too much in the game, because Tremont, Majette, Casey, and Smith, they just every time I'm finna make a tackle, they make it. And I'm a team player, so I swear we talked about this last night. I was like, I'm really tired of y'all. Y'all killing my every time I'm coming up to make a play, Majette made the tackle. Tremont, I think first game Duke City after that tackle loss, Tremont can't chase it down. I'm just like, I'm celebrating, but
Yeah, I know you wanted to get a little bit more of it, but they got motors up there, those guys,
do,
and they don't ever stop running. From what I see.
No, they don't. No, those guys make it easy for me to play Mac. Though I ain't gonna lie, I love those guys.
So Justin, we talked to Ramad, and one of his non-sports hobbies is of course drumming. You have, I guess, a more relaxing non-sport hobby. Looking at your bio from, I believe it was UNC Charlotte, one of your favorite hobbies is going out and fishing. Talk about how you got into that.
From the South, my dad, my granddad, we got boats. We just go in the water and fish. It's relaxing. You just sitting out there, you just catching fish. We never really. I mean, my folks clean them and we eat them, but I just like nature. I can say one thing about coming to Arizona, I want to start hiking. I want to go look into that. I've never been around. I'm from a city, so
Okay.
I've never experienced this type of atmosphere, the weather. When I first got up here, I couldn't breathe. I never understood what was going on. I got off the plane, I was tripping. I'm like, why I couldn't breathe? But
like from the altitude, or like just
altitude,
from all the allergy
altitude.
stuff in the air, or just a little bit of everything?
The altitude.
Okay.
We practice outside in camp. It's just tough adjustment.
Yeah.
But altitude, I like to fish. My folks, we hunt sometimes.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to find me like a hobby outside of football. I'm looking at like music, but I don't want to say that I'm a drummer or anything like that.
Well, listen, we got enough drummers already going.
Exactly.
With me, you, and Ramon, we need you to play bass or maybe some rhythm guitar or something like that. What do you think?
Fun fact, I can play the saxophone.
Sax? Hey,
Nice,
listen,
a
we need
woodwind,
we need some
yes.
horns in the band too. Absolutely, we
play
that will that'll allow us to do a lot more stuff.
I was first year out of state.
Okay, see there.
Well, I was a clarinet player, so
All right.
us woodwinds,
Hey, see there?
we got to stick together.
We're
Yeah.
putting this thing together.
They like to call us like we lame or something.
Justin, did you always play defense? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was pretty much always. I was a good running back. My dad played running back, but I got all my offers at linebacker and safety.
Okay.
So it was kind of like I had no choice. The realest thing coach told me was coach can make a running back. You can turn and see the running back, but a defensive guy, you got to have that leadership quality. They see it in you, to be able to control, kind of be the quarterback of the defense. So I kind of always just played linebacker. I always been the one. I always been the shot caller, signal caller. I always been like the head coach on the field. It's kind of just been that's just my persona. That's my personality. I think I can tell.
Do you think it was the football IQ that really got it over, especially going to the next level with the coaches?
Yes.
Got you.
Locked in with every coach I coached with in college. I talked to him like within every couple of weeks. We in a good relationship because outside of football, I coach.
Okay.
I was a teacher before I came up here.
Okay.
And I was a high school linebackers coach, and I was a head basketball coach at the middle school. So
wow. And this is back in South Carolina?
In
back
Alabama.
in Birmingham. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
So, I try to keep those relationships and just learn more because one thing you learn as an athlete, there's always room to learn. Even the pros, they think they made it, but you notice they're still learning because they get better and better as they go. And once you start learning, you kind of stop progressing. And so I'm always open to learning. So that's why I reach out to all my coaches, and that's what I want to do when I finally decide to hang the cleats up.
Well, I think if that's one thing that you want to convey to younger players is always be willing to learn. Don't ever think, I got it. I don't need you to tell me anything else. I got this whole thing figured out. I'm good.
Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir. Facts.
So, we talked to Ramon about his multi-sport athlete career in high school. So I guess you were the same thing. If you're coaching basketball, I imagine you played basketball when you were at Ramsey High School in Birmingham.
Okay, so Ramsey was a very good basketball school, and I wasn't that good of a basketball player.
Okay.
They went to the state championship 4 years in my high school and lost every year. But they were good. We had guys go sign Division I, but I was a pretty good baseball player. I had baseball scholarships to Delta State, like a lot of JUCOs. I started at catcher and played outfield. Pretty good bat. Baseball scholarships weren't full rides.
Okay.
So football was full rides. And
Okay.
then all my baseball scholarships were D2, D3, NAIA, and my football scholarships were all D1. So it was kind of, clear picture. I got to go play where the money at, and that's
Right.
full ride football. So I went to Troy.
So I would imagine you probably don't look back and say, well, maybe what you ever look back and say, what if I'd have went the baseball route or what?
I sometimes think about it. I love baseball.
Yeah.
I love baseball. So I sometimes think about it, but I just feel like God guided me. I'm a very big spiritual guy. My grandma grew up in church, so I just believe in everything's already written. You just got to kind of trust His plan. So everything in my life happens the way it happens for a reason.
That's right, my
I'm trying
man.
to see where God leads me to go. So I don't have no regrets. I don't live life with no regrets.
And He's led us to this moment right here and right now.
And a year ago,
with all three of us
sitting on the couch wondering, where was I going to get my opportunity?
And here it is, and you're already deep into it and making the most of it too, and that's the best part to see. So, linebacker Justin Wisenhunt joining us here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. Thank you, my man, for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Great
Justin.
to meet you in person. And the pizza has arrived. When you get over there, get some of that good stuff. There's garlic knots and everything as well. We're going to step aside, take another brief timeout, and come right back here and wrap things up from Rosa's Pizzeria right here in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Stay with us on the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. We'll be right back.
Buffalo Wild Wings win-win value lineup gives you and your friends more for less. With buy one, get one half off traditional wings every Tuesday. Buy one, get one free boneless wings every Thursday. And $3 tall every day. Only at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
You got a voice, Molly. Use it. Do it for the phone.
Let's do it for the phone. They do so much for you. When they're out there all alone, there's something we can do. T-Mobile, look at these maps, they don't lie. And faster speeds nationwide. Let's do it for the phone.
If you're struggling to pay your energy bill or know someone who is, we're here to help. Find APS Bill Assistance programs to reduce your monthly payment or help pay down the bill. Short-term relief like crisis bill assistance can help during a rough patch, while our energy support program can reduce your bill every month. Explore all your assistance options and see if you qualify at aps.com/here to help.
We welcome you back inside Rosa's Pizzeria here in Prescott Valley, Arizona. The sun is about set. John, it's been another great Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. I appreciate you joining me here, and we've had the pleasure of visiting with head coach Les Moss, wide receiver Ramad Jockey-Bowman, and linebacker Justin Wisenhunt, and finding out that both these guys are really talented individuals, John.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I also like to do on my show, along with talking about what they're doing on the field or on the court, talking about what they do off the field.
Yes.
And again, it was just really cool hearing about Ramad and his drumming skills, hearing about, hearing from Justin and his fishing skills and how relaxing that is. And again, it just goes to show that, these guys, they're more than the stats you see in the box score. They're actual living, breathing, flesh and blood human beings who do other things besides football and then do lead some pretty interesting lives away from the field.
And I think that's really important to keep these guys well-rounded, not to focus on football so much. Obviously, it's their profession, it's their passion, it's what they want to do, but they're able to kind of maybe escape a little bit from football and enjoy something like music or maybe another hobby and keep themselves well-rounded.
Yeah, actually, I even look at it the same way for broadcasting, because obviously I do a lot of stuff for KYCA, but my job is not me. When I'm not on the job, I like to go to concerts. We were talking about that
we
before
were.
the show.
I
mean, we're both metalheads. I like going there, banging my head and everything. I also like going home and just writing novels. Whether they be like nonfiction sports novels or sci-fi, action adventure, time travel, cryptozoology stuff. Again, it's just kind of like, I can take a break from the real world and come up with my own world when I'm doing that.
It's a nice little escape, isn't it? It's been a great show here, and we're looking forward now to this Sunday's action, actually. Sunday, April 16th, 3:05 p.m. kickoff inside the Findlay Toyota Center, and we've got the San Diego Strike Force coming to town here, and it's going to be a great matchup, John.
It is. I mean, the record is 1-2, but like I said earlier, these guys could easily be 2-1. I mean, they had two very close games. They had a 2-point loss to Quad City in the last second. It was a failed 2-point conversion. Then they just beat Vegas on Saturday, and Vegas, they failed to convert on a PAT. Goes to show you how important the kicking game is, no matter what level you're at in football. So again, I mean, and like Coach Moss said, they run a 2-quarterback offense. They got some really good guys on defense. I think we're going to be in for another dogfight, close game involving the Northern Arizona Wranglers. And you know what? I think the way we've been talking about the early part of the season, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of these just neck and neck games all the way to the end of the regular season, man.
There's been some tight ones so far this season. There's no doubt about it, and that can only benefit the league because there's going to be some high scoring affairs as we usually see as the season progresses along, but really tight games, parity all across the league, and that's exactly what they want to see here in the IFL.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really great because, even at this early stage in the season, I think by the time we get to the final few games, I think it's still going to be up in the air. It's like, okay, well, this team's in first, this team's in second, but who's got the inside, who's got the big shot on winning that IFL national championship? I don't know yet.
It's definitely not easy to do, and a long road still remains here for the Northern Arizona Wranglers, and it continues, I should say, this Sunday against the San Diego Strike Force. Make sure to join us. 3:05 p.m. kickoff. We'll be on the air at 2:40 p.m. local time on Sunday afternoon with our pregame show. Mr. Ed Cole and I will be coming to you live from inside the Finley Toyota Center. And John, thank you so much again for joining me tonight here on the program. It's been a blast.
Yeah, well, like I said, glad to fill in for Ed. And again, thanks for asking. And I certainly had a good time with you guys here. And look forward to seeing you when I get out to the arena next time.
Tune in to John. You're available on KYCA radio. Give the folks the AM and FM frequencies.
Okay, KYCA 1490 AM, 103.5 FM. You can also check us out online at kyca.info. I cover all the high school and college sports around here, and also give the updates on how the Northern Arizona Wranglers did in their games. Also, Saturday mornings at 8:06. You can catch me on the Tri-City Sports Roundup, where I have guests comment, and we just talk about the local sports scene. Do my 3 stars of the week, both male and female. So all over the place there. And of course, on we also have a YouTube channel, KYCA Digital, where we put up some of our shows, and that's where you can see my Rust Rants podcast. In fact, a couple of the latest episodes I did was about the little controversy between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark at the national championship game, where everyone freaked out over Angel Reese, doing the taunting and trash talking to Caitlin Clark. But I was like, I thought that was entertaining, and even Caitlin Clark thought it was entertaining, and she was the victim of the trash talking. So I don't know what everyone gets all bent out of shape about. I love the trash talking and the taunting. That just makes sports more entertaining.
You are absolutely right, my friend. I couldn't agree more. It's been a great Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup here from Rosa's Pizzeria. Thanks to everyone for having us. We appreciate their hospitality. We'll be back again 2 weeks from tonight right here inside Rosa's Pizzeria in Prescott Valley. For my special guest co-host John Rust, I'm James Poovey saying so long. Have a great night. We hope you enjoyed your Easter weekend, and we look forward to seeing you this Sunday, 3:05 p.m. local time inside the Finley Toyota Center as we battle the San Diego Strike Force. Have a great night, everyone.